Hey, all right. Let's see here. Do a little chat check. Like it's working on my end. It looks like it is working on you guys' end. So we got the, I guess, a little sneak preview of what Richard Petty or Legacy Motor Club is going to run. Looks like an old Richard Petty scheme, so that's going to be pretty cool, I think. What else do we got here? I don't know. More fallout from the from Talladega. More. You would think that was a short track race. The way stuff keeps coming out. Pitbull has announced that his next studio album will be called Trackhouse. So looks like Pitbull is all in on the deal. So definitely some pretty cool stuff going around. Wait for some people to get in here, then we'll see what you guys want to talk about. But I did grab a screenshot. I don't know how well we'll be able to see this. Yeah, probably not well. That is absolutely terrible. That is absolutely terrible. But yeah, it looks like an old, maybe a 90 to 92 paint scheme is what Eric Jones is going to be running for Legacy Motor Club at North Wilkesboro. So definitely will be pretty cool. But we will jump in here and see what you guys want to talk about. Mark Barnum, what's going on, man? Donnie, how's it going, dude? Sonny V, what's going on? Yep, it looks like it's working. Joshua Jenkins, hey BB, yes. Z, it is working. Sonny V says, saw it on your Twitter. Oh yes, there you go. If you want to look at the picture, it is up on my Twitter. I did get the screenshot there, so it looks a little bit better there. Eventually, I'll get my switcher working here, and I'll be able to pull up stuff so you can see it there. But don't have that quite working yet, at least at this studio. Haley posted a video. I am old but not dead, says Mark Barnum. So apparently she has a video, I guess riding her Can-Am or something. That's what I saw on Twitter. I don't know. I haven't seen her new, I guess, YouTube video. T-Van saying, what's up? One wise guy. How's it going, dude? Jay Campbell, BB, best show. Going, you are alive. Yep, for sure. Benjamin Lewis said, let's talk about Joey Logano's move to hold the line in the middle of the track. So, yeah, that's one that I didn't really get a chance to talk to. So what he did there, he moved to the middle groove so that they would have to split him. And he was hoping that somebody would eventually catch him up, because what he was trying to do was maintain some type of position to at least have a fighting chance to be the first car one lap down, so that when the stage break ended or the next caution came, he would unlap himself. I guess this is the first time people have seen him do this. He did this at another racetrack one time before. Now, he held his line, so that's all you can do as a lapped car. The line he held, I think, is what everybody brings into question. It wasn't just some random thing he was doing, though. He was trying to stay on the lead lap, so I understand the thought process behind it. But that being said, probably not the smartest move, safety-wise and stuff like that. So I know even some hardcore Joey Logano fans were kind of like, what was he doing? So, yeah, he was trying to stay on the lead lap, but was it necessarily the safest thing to do? Probably not. But at the end of the day, he had a strategy. He did hold his line. Tony Stewart even stood up for him, saying, yeah, he held his line. Like, that's all you can do as a lap car. But picking the middle groove, that was kind of chintzy. The SRX also has announced their booth lineup. Darrell Waltrip is back. That's the one that I'm pretty excited about. Let's see the next one here. SRX is going to rock this year, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, so not only do they have Darrell Waltrip, but they have several other people that people have wanted to see for a long time. I know Joey Logano is going to be a driver in that, and he's also going to be a commentator. Alan Bestwick is back from last year. So ESPN looks like they're taking it very seriously. And when ESPN promotes something and they do it the right way, they're really hard to beat. So hopefully they do the SRX the right way. And a lot of people have said that maybe this booth will upstage some of the maybe NBC and Fox booth. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Jeff Henson says, yes, sir. What's up, Jeff? Kelly Combs says, I just wanted to thank you. You're awesome. I appreciate you, Kelly Combs. You're awesome, too. So everybody's awesome. So one wise guy says, so did the 34 announce how or why they cut a tire. I still haven't seen anything on why they cut that tire at the very beginning of the race. It was very bizarre. my initial thought is maybe they ran over some debris or they just got really aggressive with the tire pressure, but I don't know. It's going to be, I haven't seen anything official on that. And I did see also today that the 41 car has been taken back along with the 5 car, just so they can line them both up and see what happens. So they have taken the 41 car as well into NASCAR R&D to try to figure out exactly, what happened there, why that frame bent and all that stuff. And of course, a lot of people who are on the anti-Hendrick, or they think Hendrick did something to that roll cage and that's the reason it bent. Then there's other people who think, well, it was just a 200-mile-per-hour hit. That's why the roll cage bent the way it bent. So it is what it is. And I saw where, I guess, a Dirty Mo media, they were talking about Kyle Larson looked scared in his interview. I don't think he looked scared so much as, to me, he looked angry. So, and some people said they thought he looked concussed. So varying opinions on Kyle Larson's interview and how he looked, I guess. So, we'll gossip about anything as race fans. Robin Marks says, howdy, hose heads. Greetings from Canada. What's up, Robin Marks? What's up, Canada? OJ and Toothpaste. What's up, man? Good to see you on here. Skyblazer RC. So how about the bracket idea on Denny on his podcast? Did sound interesting. I found it interesting that Denny Hamlin brought that up because Denny Hamlin was the same guy that wanted to, I don't know, change the playoffs. So now he wants to add essentially another playoff in the middle of the season, and it's strictly for gambling. It basically it's just a money grab. At the end of the day, it's a money grab for NASCAR. So I don't know. Like, basically this idea they want to have in the middle is the idea I have for the playoffs. Like, the playoffs at the end of the season should be a money deal for the drivers, but you still have a regular season championship and you still have whoever wins the most races. And there you go. That's your NASCAR Triple Crown right there. So I think that would be a cooler idea, actually, if they just got rid of the playoffs and made the playoffs a money thing, and then the championship was a season-long points thing, and then whoever has the most races. I think that would just be a cool way to do it. But, whatever. I mean, look, I'm open to anything. If they want to try it, try it. I think Denny was just trying to get content for his show. The likelihood of that happening, I think, is very slim. At the end of the day, I'm just being totally honest about that. So I just feel like Denny didn't have anything super controversial to talk about. So he just has, I think he's probably got some stuff in his back pocket for when he doesn't have, anything to grab a headline. He's got stuff like that. So that's more or less how I feel about that. The rationale about it at the end of the day is getting some of that gambling money into NASCAR. Jamie Schweitzer says Joey didn't seem to risk causing a big crash, unlike the blocking Bubba did, says Jamie Schweitzer. I mean, at the end of the day, Bubba Wallace did, I think what any race car driver would do in the lead there. You tried to hold on to the lead because you're trying to win the race. I didn't necessarily have a problem with the way he drove. If it was like the first 10 laps, I would have a problem with it. But if it's the end of the race, you're trying to hold that position and win the race. So I don't know. It wasn't a big deal to me at the end of the day. And to be totally honest, Joey Logano, what he did wasn't a huge deal to me either. Neither one of them were super safe. But I understand Joey Logano was trying to stay on the lead lap. I understand Bubba Wallace was trying to hold on to the lead. I didn't have a problem when Noah Gragson threw a late block on Chastain. Didn't have a problem with Chastain going for the smallest gap you could possibly go for in that situation. Didn't have a problem with either one of them. And I think if it wasn't the last few laps, neither of those moves would have happened. And if, Joey Logano wasn't trying to stay on, if Joey Logano was like already a lap down, he probably doesn't make that move either. So it is what it is. But I understand, if you're upset with them too, because they were not the safest moves to make. So I will acknowledge that. That's for sure a fact. Robin Marks, howdy, Mark Barnum and y'all. Donnie Love, the Herminator, is going to race SRX, says Donnie Love. Yep, he's going to race SRX. He's also going to race in the Cars Tour for RNS. That is Marcus Richmond and Steve Stallings. Marcus Richmond, of course, the former crew chief at KBM in the Truck Series and RCR, various other places. I know he worked with Noah Gragson, Ty Dillon. He was Kevin Harvick's truck car chief. He's worked with a lot of people. Pretty cool dude. Matt Hunter, who gets the SRX? Who gets the SHR Xfinity number 98 whenever Riley Herbst gets moved up? Haley Deegan, Marco Andretti, or Ernie Francis Jr.? I'm going to go with Haley Deegan. I think Haley Deegan will move over there and get that spot. I got a pretty good feeling. Ernie Francis seems to be leaning more toward open wheel. So I would say he'll probably stick with open wheel for a while. Baloney word to Big Brother. What's up, E. Damon? Good to see you on here as always, my dude. Jeff Henson says, looked like the wall did it. So, the wall caused all the damage. The wall is just jumping out at people. Does that a lot at super speedways and short tracks. Mark Barnum says, Matt, time for Tony to put Haley in the 98. She can sink or swim next year. The trucks are a joke. She's been doing better in the truck series here recently, though. So I'm acknowledging she got better in the truck series. And of course, she's with a really good team too. So not for nothing. I think she'll do fine in Xfinity. I think those cars seem to suit her driving style better than the trucks do. Robin Marks, Larson looked mad on his radio. He said every effing time. That's what I took from it, Robin Marks. I don't think he looked scared or shaken up. I'm pretty sure he's taken plenty of tumbles in his lifetime. I think he was more irritated that once again they had a really good car, and that's the way I read his facial expression. He looked like he was gritting his teeth and holding back, wanting to say a whole bunch of cuss words. That's the way I took his interview. But other people have taken it a different way. Sonny V says, I thought Larson looked pretty hacked off. Yeah, so you guys saw the same thing I did, but apparently I guess some other people, and I just read the headline. I didn't watch the video, so to be fair to them, the headline said, did Kyle Larson look scared to you or something like that? So I didn't see scared. I saw more like really angry and wishing he didn't have to do that interview and be graceful while doing the interview. Jeff Henson says, Denny, LOL. Camaro 50 said, what's up, BB? What's up, Camaro 50? Jeff Henson, also his show is like his racing. I guess you're talking about Kenny Wallace. Will Bush or LaJoy survived over. Who strikes first? Oh, that's a good question, Mark Barnum. I think they'll probably leave each other alone. But if I had to guess anybody, Kyle Busch, maybe. I don't know. I don't feel like Corey LaJoy is going to race like that just because of the situation his team is in. They're a lower budget team. They're not going out there trying to waste equipment. But I don't think either one of them will do anything. And Jeff Henson's going with the 8. He thinks Kyle Busch will do it first. Napa Racing Fan says DVC made it sound like Talladega was an awful race. Yes, the Super Speedway package needs improvement, but they actually went 3 wide on Sunday. They didn't do that the last time there. I didn't have a problem with the race. I've seen better Talladega races, don't get me wrong, but I thought that race was fine. I thought there was plenty of passing. I thought they had plenty of grooves when they wanted them. I feel like the drivers just, after a while, were just being super conservative until the very end. And then you saw at the very end, they all went for it. They were making multiple grooves work. So I didn't have a problem with the race. I've seen definitely worse ones there, no doubt about it. Donnie Love says, what about Corey LaJoy admitted he tried to wreck Kyle Busch on his podcast? DVC said Denny should get his money back. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. He admitted he tried to wreck him, and he didn't get fined for it. So, I mean, that they have a very good point there. Matt Hunter, truck field is 95% rich kids with money to burn. Yeah, I think Kyle Busch said that. Yeah, I would have to agree with you because I feel like he would know if anybody would know, right? Jeff Henson, yes, now it is on. I was rooting for Bubba to win for the first time, but I thought it was a W for Bubba. Keep at it, W, says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, I mean, and his mom said Michael Jordan was happy with his performance. That's the way he wants him to race. I know there was some conjecture that, maybe he win for the first time. I got what you're saying now. But, I mean, there was some conjecture that maybe Michael Jordan would be mad about how he drove or something like that. But his mom defended him in a tweet, which is always wild when the parents get involved. But she defended him in a tweet and said she talked with Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan actually appreciated the way he raced. So it is what it is. Robin Mark says, lap that lick button. So, yeah, if you want to hit the like button, it would be much appreciated. Jeff Henson says, LOL, Napa Racing Fan, the title of DDC's latest episode was following Talladega. It's not the track's fault. The track is not the problem was the title, but they said the above on the show. So there you go. I didn't have a problem with the race at all. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I guess they didn't have anything necessarily great to talk about or anything like that. So sometimes I have no problem just making a boring episode when nothing happens and just dealing with a terrible rating or a terrible view count or whatever. But some people don't have that, and some people just want to. They'll get a flashy title and then sort of pull something out of their butt. So that might be what they were doing there. Without seeing the episode, I'm just speculating. So John Ray says, hey there, BB, trying to listen to you and watch sprint dirt cars as well. A couple of NASCAR drivers in Iowa tonight, Larson, Bowman, and our Daytona 500 winner Stenhouse. Sounds like a good crowd there. Alex Bowman has really picked up his dirt racing here recently since Kyle Busch sort of lifted the ban from Hendrick when he got there. So that's pretty cool to see. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., always a threat on a dirt track. And, of course, Kyle Larson, I think one of the best dirt racers of all time. And I'm a dirt moron, so I can say that with full full honesty, because I don't know too many of them. Jamie Schweitzer KB is on fire this year. Yeah, for sure. He's definitely putting in more time than he has in the past. In past 4 years, I think is what he said in his interview post race. So he's putting in more effort than he has in the previous 4 years, and I think it's showing. He's trying to build something there at RCR, not only for him, but I think he sees a future for Brexton there as well. So I think he's going all in with RCR here. Jay Campbell says weather looks beautiful for Dover as usual on Sunday. When can we expect an update if NASCAR will bump it Monday? It looks like a washout. Yeah, hopefully they don't get rained out. I would hate that, but at the end of the day, it would give me something to sort of watch on Monday as I'm working as well. So hopefully it doesn't get rained out. But if it does, we'll deal with that when it gets there. But hopefully the weather system changes its direction and whatnot. Benjamin Lewis says Corey's not going to mess with Kyle because Pop's going to dot his eye. That could be very true. The 8 might let it go for RCR. Says Jeff Henson, and then talking about Bubba's mom, tweeting for him, I guess. How many wins for KFB this year? I say 5, says Mark Barnum. In the Cup Series, I would say, yeah, for sure. I would say probably 4 to 5. I think that's what I started with at the beginning of the season. I said maybe 3 or 4 or 4 to 5. So 5, I guess, would be on the high side. You got to remember, these days in this particular car, 5 is a lot of wins in this type of car. That being said, I think 3 to 4 is a safe bet. I think 5 is also probably a pretty safe bet, but we got some people on here predicting 8, so we'll see what happens there. What's up, y'all? What's up, Bumblebee? Good to see you on here. Mark Barnum saying what's up as well. Jeff Henson said, hey. Matt Hunter, Robin Marks, where's the lick button at? The lick button is somewhere wherever the like button is. I don't know. I can't see it on my screen because I got a different view than you guys. Let's see. Brad K is tearing it up this year. Was totally in position for the win. Oh well. He keeps knocking on the door. Roush number 1 with that comment. He keeps knocking on the door. As long as Brad Keselowski keeps doing what he's doing, and as long as RFK keeps bringing the cars that they're bringing to the racetrack, they're going to punch some more wins. I have no doubt about that. Jeff Henson, Tuesday Fun Day. Oh, for sure. The Tuesday stream is always the stream that gets sort of wacky and wild normally. Although Sunday stream, post-race stream, we went all kinds of directions on that one too. Brad's win is coming very soon. I feel it, says Bumblebee. Jeff Henson said Brad looks strong. How about Flipper getting in the top 75? I mean, Carl Edwards probably should be in there. Like I said, I'm not gonna judge any of that till the full list comes out. Then I'll nitpick it instead of putting my own list together like they did. So we'll see how that plays out. Jamie Schweitzer said the last person at JGR, don't forget to turn the lights out when Bell goes to SHR. Yeah, if Christopher Bell goes to SHR, that's going to be a rough day for Gibbs. They got plenty of talent in the pipeline, but that talent has to take time to develop. Christopher Bell's already developed. He is the points leader right now, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think he's still leading the points. But yeah, if they don't lock down Christopher Bell, I'll let that dude race dirt every day if he wanted to. Like, who cares? Let the guys live. RFK looking better every week, says John Lewis. Yeah, I agree 100%. They've been one of the big turnaround stories. As disappointing as Legacy Motor Club has been, RFK has been the opposite of that. They've been just as impressive building on the season they had last year. Let me get that hat, BB. Yeah, this is the old here. This is the OG Watermelon when he drove for Dirty Mo, the Dirty Mo car, the old 77 throwback at Darlington. Let's see. Jeff Henson, LOL. KB can have a drink at RCR, not at Joe Gibbs, says Tony McCall. So there you go. Jeff Henson said, I keep licking it. You only got to lick it once, Jeff Henson. It's good. I appreciate your effort there, buddy. John Lewis, 92, also seeks the top 10 at Dega. Yeah, for sure. Josh Strickland, what up, BB? Glad Bubbles didn't get the win or Denny sucks. Had a blast at the track. Have seen better racing. They need to do something. Yeah, I don't think it was the greatest race, but I think that's more on the drivers for playing it conservatively, just in my opinion, because you saw at the end of the race, they were dicing and moving. So I think the drivers just played it safe and didn't want to cause the big one. And then at the end, it was because they had waited all that time to start going. The big one was inevitable because nobody really knew what they had. And like I said, 3 lanes developed. If they had raced the end of that race, the entire race, if they had raced the entire race the way they raced the end of that race, I think it would have been a totally different opinion on it. So I don't think it was necessarily the car. The package always needs to be tweaked or a little bit with this particular car, but I think it could have been a better race if they didn't just play it safe. So JJ Yeley is going to be the 51 driver now. Says Angus 420. Looks like it for the foreseeable future. Sunday's post-race stream was fun. I can neither confirm or deny there may have been an adult beverage or two involved, says Beast 1624. Yeah, it's all good. Feel free on your end to consume whatever you would like to consume. Roush is Bell supposed to go to SHR? That's the rumor. Him and Ryan Blaney have been rumored to be 2 that they're looking at over there. One wise guy points top 3 Bell, Larson, and Bush. So there you go. Streamlabs says my first race at Dega in almost 3 decades, and my driver wins. LOL. At least KFB pulled it off. Even if I had to watch from home, says Streamlabs. Hey, there you go. I hate that you missed it, but hey, at least your guy got the win. Colorado Car Dude says, I love your channel. I appreciate it, Car Dude. Stupid River says, hi, fellas. What's up, Roofer? Good to see you in here. Jeff Henson with the LOL. Bumblebee, Todd Gilliland continues to put together top 10s week in and week out. Yeah, he's a guy you got to watch, too. He's slowly sneaking into that conversation of getting a good ride, depending on how everything shakes out. Mark Martin, fan for life. What's up, dude? Roofer says, yo, Mark. And what's up, Roofer? Also says Bumblebee. Jeff Henson also saying, hey, Gilliland needs good equipment, says Roush number 1. Yeah. So that's what I'm interested to see. There is going to be a lot of movement, I think, around that number 4 car, in my opinion. And I want to see, I don't think Todd Gilliland will get that 4 car, but I want to see if something opens up and Todd Gilliland gets to that next car, or if you stay at front row, because I think front row's building something nice over there too. Staying at front row might be an option. Much like Ross Chastain is trying to build something over there at Trackhouse, Daniel Suarez is trying to build something over there at Trackhouse. Maybe Gilliland and McDowell has been there for a long time trying to build something at front row. So maybe those 2 guys stay and try to build something over there. I could see that happening. Just like Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski are trying to bring Roush back to life as well. So maybe staying there is not the worst thing he could do either. But if a good ride opens up, you would have to think Todd Gilliland's definitely putting his name in the hat right now with the finishes he's been getting. Napa Racing Fan says the Monster Mile has always been an underrated track. I think so too. They usually put on really good races. My favorite race there of all time was when Kyle Petty won his last race in the pink, silver, and blue Coors Light car, and he got out of that car and he needed oxygen. He couldn't even lift himself out of that car. I just like to see that level of effort. Richard Hole says, honestly, what is up with Denny reinventing NASCAR every week on a podcast? Who is he other than a driver? Well, Richard, I'm just telling you, he's doing it because he's trying to be a good podcast host. He's just trying to come up with something different that'll make people tune in and make people talk about it. He's trying to get the thing trending. You see that a lot with people that have podcasts. Sometimes they say outrageous stuff. I mean, just for the sole purpose of saying outrageous stuff. And I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but that just seems like what he does because it's every week it's something, right? So I feel like he brought that up just to have something sort of out there that people would be talking about. I was running late, stuck in the shop, fixing my baby girl's bike, says Mark Martin fan. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Get that bike fixed. That's definitely more important than this. ED, I would like to see Todd in the 10 car. Yeah. Now if both of those cars open up this season, then we're having a big conversation, and I think there is a lot of movement. Roofer says, cheers to Jeff. Jeff Henson says, adults here. How about a poll with 4 choices for best track for the championship race? That's a good one. So I don't know. You just we'll do the previous ones and then I'll do 2 randos. It only gives me a few options here. So we'll start one. Let's see here. Bristol. Daytona. I like Daytona being the beginning and the end, so I'm going to throw that one in there. I'm going to leave Homestead out. I'm going to leave Phoenix out because they're already in there. I'm just going to throw ones out here that aren't that haven't been at the end of it. So what's another one we could put in there? Maybe Darlington. Darlington would be a good one, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. And of course, we got to put Wilkesboro in there. I can't spell. This is taking so long. There we go. We'll do that one. If you don't like my picks, of course, we can always revisit it and take another one. And of course, whenever I put one of those up, I lose my place. So I've lost my place, and we're just going to start. I'm just going to start right here because I lost my place. My kiddo might be in the chat, says Roofer. Oh, yeah, we always try to keep it clean in the chat. We were just joking about the old, adult beverages. Streamlab says, I really liked Denny's idea about the mid-season bracket tournament. Yeah, so that's definitely just to bring gambling money in. But I also think he only says stuff like, I don't think it'll ever happen, just to be totally honest with you. I think he just says stuff like that to get the podcast trending. But I'm not saying it's a good or bad idea. I think that's just, I'm glad he threw it out there. You never know. Closed mouths don't get fed. So if you got an idea, throw it out there all the ways. Jeff Green and Scott Riggs need to be in the top 75, says T-Van. I'm going to stay out of that one. I think Scott Riggs was an underrated driver. I will say that. And I have talked with him at the local short tracks, his son Lane. They run a team. So I'm going to stay out of that one because I know him. Joshua Jenkins, Todd Gilliland is doing a really good job this year. He is going to get him a better ride if he keeps it up. I think so too. I agree with you, Joshua. I think as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, he'll end up in a good ride. I like those fat 77s, says Jeff Henson. Does Kligerman get a win soon? I hope so. I was really stoked when Kligerman got a full-time ride, so I was I'm really hoping he cashes in because I thought he was always an underrated driver. Like him and Kaz Gralla, dudes like that, I always want to see them do well. I felt the same way about Hornaday until he got with Kevin Harvick, and he finally got a good truck ride. Carl Edwards is in the top 75. Heard it from Kenny. He says Benjamin Lewis. Yeah, Carl Edwards got in there. I think he was the one they announced today. I missed 500 miles at Dover. It was fun to sit and watch those for 5-hour races play out. Yeah, and just to see it's such a rough track, just to see how many cars actually got like eaten up by the track. Like that extra 100 miles on those chassis at those loads and stuff and that rough track. It was always fun to see which cars fell apart. I remember Bill Davis brought cars there that were super fast, but they never made it to the end of the race. Ward Burton had a killer car one year, and the thing just fell apart. It was beat to death. Napa Racing Fan says, how do we get NASCAR to remove overtime and stage cautions? I feel the majority of fans are removing stage cautions. Unfortunately, removing overtime is in the minority. I think everybody would be for removing. You don't even have to get rid of the stages; just get rid of the cautions for them. So, and it adds extra layers of strategy. I think getting rid of them just helps everything. Green flag pit stops are chic right now. Everybody wants to see green flag pit stops because it adds to strategy. I think the Coca-Cola 600 would be the best championship race in Charlotte, says Jamie Schweitzer. That would be pretty cool. Jeff Henson says, cry, better late than never. Woot, woot, Chevy says, say Kyle, not Cal. Yeah, Chevy is on a roll this year. They don't even have the fastest cars. It's just bouncing their way. Richard Petty chewing on that wet cloth makes my teeth hurt. It's like nails on a chalkboard. I hate the feel of cloth on my teeth, says Robin Marks. There was a basketball coach named Jerry Tarkanian. That's how he used to drink his water. He would dip a towel in a cloth, and that's how he drank his water back in the day. It was such a weird thing to see. UNLV running Rebels. They beat Duke one year, and then Duke with Christian Laettner, and then came back the next year, and that started the Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley deal. This is a basketball channel, so I know you guys really want to hear about that. Anyway, Angus 420, Wilkesboro should be the championship race. So far, Darlington at 53%. That surprises me too. So I like the idea of Darlington. I threw it in there just because I thought it was going to be one that only I thought was a good idea, but a lot of you guys think it's the same idea too. If you want to vote on the poll, we do have a poll up where of these 4 tracks, what do you think would be the best track to have the championship race at? Carl was good. He had a temper, says Jeff Henson, talking about Carl Edwards. Yeah, that little run-in with Matt Kenseth, I don't think won him a lot of fans, but he kind of chilled out a couple of years after that. Gateway for a championship track, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, Gateway would be a good one too. Ron Hornaday Jr. Make the top 75 list. He has a heart like a truck, a heart like a butt. Should be the name of that song. Anyway, Stupid Roofer, Darlington. Hey, yeah, so there you go. Another vote for Darlington. Noah and Eric had a decent run. Eric tried to get third going a couple of times. If I remember correctly. Yeah, I saw both of them up there at various points. I actually saw Noah Gregson up there as well. They were working together and they did a great job. Unfortunately, Noah did not finish the race. I did hear a pretty. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should drop or not, but I heard a pretty wild rumor about the Legacy Motor Club team and Ross Chastain, either at the airport or after the race or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to fly that. I might fly it. I'm gonna think about it here for a minute. I learned this week that RFK has control over Chevy teams. I kind of want to put it out there just to see. After I put it out there, if an actual journalist will go up and ask him the question and see if it really happens. So I don't know. I'm debating it. I learned this week that RFK has control over a Chevy team's pit crew. I have much more to say about that. Yeah. So whenever you rent a pit crew, buyer beware, right? That's all I can say about that. Jeff Henson saying, Denny, LOL. Do we really need more gimmicks? Says Bo Darvel. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm a purist, but at the end of the day, I'm willing to try anything once. I'm actually willing to try it 9 times out of 10 because I know it'll fail. And when it fails, we don't have to hear about it again. Have the Labonte brothers made the top 75 yet? I think Terry Labonte was already in the original, and Bobby Labonte might be in the original one too, but I'm not 100% sure. Jeff Henson, I try it first. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go. That's the day. They didn't have Pepsi at the place that I got my dinner at. Sonoma for a championship race. I don't know if anybody would go for a road course on Earth 2 though. All the tracks are road courses. Just kidding. People are gonna flip about that too. Josh Strickland, Denny never has any. All the racetracks on Earth 2 are shaped like the number 3. Denny never has any good ideas. Good for Carl Edwards, says Josh Strickland. So yeah, a lot of people are pretty. Carl Edwards is in there. He's got some chores and shower. He'll pop in, says Roofer. So maybe Rockingham instead of street race would be great. Yeah, Rockingham. I guess I could pop that one in there. I guess I'll take whoever wins this one, and we'll do like another one maybe next stream or maybe in the middle of this stream. So let's see. If you could give Dover a fall race in addition to the spring, which track would you replace it with? It's so underrated. Oh, that's a good question. I'm actually in favor of all tracks just having one race, except for maybe 1 or 2 traditional tracks. So I don't know. I'm on the one track train. That way you can get it. You can get NASCAR Cup Series racing to various different places. If they need gimmicks, how about racing big wheels at Slinger? How about everybody just gets on a one wheel and that's how you qualify, and then you race the actual race in a race car? I don't know. Tan Dog 58, a bunch of boneheads probably. Ron doesn't belong in the top 75 because he wasn't a successful Cup guy. Ron Hornaday's got to be in the top 75. There's just no way around it. Ron Hornaday's an absolute legend. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Sonny V says, Tark the Shark. Yep, that's him. Sucking on the towel, says Jeff Henson. Napa Racing fan, I missed the Dover truck race. Ran Friday at 5:30. Trucks shouldn't have left Dover in Michigan. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The trucks did put on good races there. Will Kenny Wallace make the 75 greatest list, says OJ and Toothpaste? He'll definitely make it on Earth 2. Earth 1 is going to be, I would say, no. 100% no. Streamlabs says, I want to see Darlington throwback of Brett Bodine's Bullseye barbecue sauce car. That was a good-looking car. I agree with you. Jamie Schweitzer said, will Dick Trickle be among the top 75 drivers? And Jeff Henson says Trickle. I think he should be because he's got like pretty much the most ever late model stock. Late model stock car wins. So I wish he was on there. I don't know. I don't know if he will be or not. Bomba said he's not discussing the 75. I'll find other things to talk about. Yeah, I don't want to nitpick it until the full list comes out, because then I could nitpick it now and say somebody should be on the list, and it comes out, oh, he's on the list. So I've nitpicked it for no reason. Tan Dog says doubtful on Dick making the top 75. I am too, but I think he should be on there. And that's one that I will probably nitpick about, but that's just because I'm a big Dick Trickle fan. But let's see here. David Nyhoff says, hey, BB, did y'all race this weekend? And where did you race? I helped out on Friday at Hickory Motor Speedway, Tate Fogelman, and he did race, but he didn't qualify well and was in the last chance qualifier. And was maybe 1 or 2 spots from transferring into the main race. So we didn't have the weekend we were looking for, but also was helping on the pro late model side with Justin Whitaker. Justin Whitaker made the pro late model race And he didn't qualify well either. But last time I looked at him, he had gained like 10 or 12 positions, so his car was racing well. And Tate Fogelman's a heck of a talent. I guess we just missed the setup. We felt really good about it when I left Friday. I didn't go back Saturday because I thought it was going to get rained out. I don't know. So it just sucks. It is what it is. I thought we had a good one. I don't know if the rain changed the track so much or whatever, but I don't know. Plus, it's just Hickory. Hickory, if the weather blows a different direction, the track changes. So I don't know. 11 is not in the 75, yes or no, says Jeff Henson. Denny Hamlin, I think Denny Hamlin's probably in there. If you just look at his numbers, he's already been named to it. So I would say just numbers alone. He's been named to it already, I think. So I think numbers alone, he's definitely in there. Just his Daytona 500s alone, he should be in there. Say Cal, not Cal, I would say keep your cards close to your vest. Otherwise, you won't get inside info anymore. LOL, says Say Cal, not Cal. I mean, no, the guy that told it to me, he's a reliable source. And he said, his words, not mine. I don't give a shit if you say it or not. I'm just, I don't know. I don't want to be like a place people come for gossip because I normally don't do that. But I am curious to see if it's true. Now you've piqued our curiosity, says B1624. Perfect place to spread rumors, says Josh Strickland. Other than the 4 front rows, 2 cars look faster than the 10, the 14, the 41, but Zane has to go somewhere. There is no way he stays in the trucks, says Brickford Bricks. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Zane Smith's moving up, no doubt about it. The Carolina tracks would be too cold at the end of the season. I think you're right about that, Dakota Henderson. That's a fair point. 5 Flags would be my pick for the championship. So there you go, going outside the box. I like that. The championship should be at Bristol and ran clockwise, says Angus 420, but only for half the race. And you flip the coin as to when it will be clockwise and when it will be regular direction, just for maximum drama, as always, because that's what NASCAR is focused on. Earth 2 road courses need to have loop-de-loops, says Streamlabs. But only if they have jumps. You got to have if you have a loop-de-loop, you got to have a jump too. So if you don't have a jump, what's the point of having a loop-de-loop? Joshua Jenkins, yes, the Josh Strickland. I noticed that Legacy Motor Club guys ran decent. Jones got a good finish with some luck at the end, but he was pulling that outside line. He was one that started it with Noah was good too. Yeah, so Eric Jones was trying to get something going up there. I like to imagine my Earth 2 track is figure eights. Says say Kyle, not Cal. So we can go 50-50 on them. Some are figure eights. Some are shaped in the shape of a 3 toaster. And so like the Earth, like Earth 2 itself, of course. Earth 2 is shaped like a 3 toaster. Think about that for a minute. Sort of weird. Make the cars, make them run to their cars, says Jeff Henson. Yeah, like old school. You got to run to your car, jump in, suit up, crank it, and then go. That's your qualifying and start lap. Come on, dude. Hornaday is easily top 75. Yeah, for sure. I'm with you on that one. Like he's one of my favorite guys of all time too. So that's me having a massive bias on that one. Dakota Henderson NASCAR's new gimmick, Watermelon 500 at the Freedom Factory. Then people would complain that Ross Chastain had an advantage. B1624, in my opinion, Earth 2, Dale Sr., Davey, Allen, Adam are all still alive and have totally changed NASCAR history. So there you go. Like I said earlier on the other stream, sometimes people are so good that they're good on both Earth 1 and 2. Not going to lie, a 10-lap marathon at Daytona for charity sounds pretty cool, says Angus 420. I mean, no, definitely anything for charity is cool. John Lewis, LOL, I can remember Trickle smoking in the car at Cautions, the good old days. Yeah, he was the man, dude. Like, it was, I'm not promoting that or anything like that, but for that era and that time, that was cool and that was hilarious. Josh Strickland, give it up for my boy, Red Farmer, finished second at Talladega Dirt Track at 90 years old. Wow, says Josh Strickland. Yeah, not only that, but he came there the next day and gave the driver start your engine deal. And that was pretty cool. Wow, Hickory, my home track, says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, we went there, didn't have the results we wanted, but we tried. Like, I don't know. It just, there were a lot of really good cars there. There's a lot of good guys that I saw not run well. You see the Ford Ranger race at Bristol on the dirt that Cletus put on. I saw the highlights of it. It looked pretty wild. They had a massive pile up, so that's the main highlight that I've seen over and over again. Let's see here. Out of shape loose, says Henson. Jeff Henson, that's a shame. Sonny V says, really like the Harvick's paint scheme with the mobile Pegasus. Yeah, I like that all-white number 4 car. I think it's one of his best ones, too. If it's true, is gossip, says Jeff Henson. I'm pretty sure it's true. That's why I want to ask it. This guy's a reliable source. He's the same guy that basically the only other time I've ever done this is when I said Ty Dillon was going to the 77 like 2 or 3 months before it happened. And that news was nobody even cared about it, but I did break that about 2 or 3 months before it happened. Yep. Mm-hmm. Homer Simpson says you should do a non-stop 75, or you should do a non-top 75 driver. So that would, I guess, be a top 75 on Earth too. Napa Racing Fan says, "Dope!" To the old Homer Simpson there. David Nyhoff says, at Jamie, I saw Gant race at Hickory. Oh, yeah, Harry Gant raced at Hickory quite often back in the day. RFK, he was also there for one of the throwback races that the Cars Tour had. RFK under contract took a Chevy driver a couple of years ago. Now the pit crew are going to Chevy. Are they going to get the 47 charter? That's a good question. Or does the 47 just go to Ford and sort of align itself with RFK? I think all those are fair questions. And if that happens, does Ricky Stenhouse Jr. stay in that car? Because of course he drove for RFK for a long time, so it's a lot of questions if that would happen. But that's a good question. Loop de loop, LOL, says Jeff Henson. Robin Marks, I was getting sleepy. Now you got me curious. I never slept on Christmas Eve. Spilled the beans about the airport. So I don't know if it was at the airport. I'll just throw it out here. And like I said, this is just a rumor. Hopefully, somebody like Bob Pockris or somebody important will hear this and actually ask the question to somebody who could actually answer it. But I heard that some Legacy Motor Club, Noah Gregson's guys, sort of got in the face of Ross Chastain at the airport or after the race or whatever. Not Noah Gregson himself, his crew members. So maybe that's what the MC stands for in Legacy. Maybe that's why they say Legacy MC. Anyway, they got in Ross Chastain's face and we're talking junk, and Ross Chastain just stood there calmly and said, "Yep, okay." Basically saying, what are you going to do about it? In typical Florida man fashion, he was not intimidated because I think he's seen worse, and he was not scared of them. Is the way the story was related to me. So apparently, there was some beef there, and then to follow that up, some higher ups at Trackhouse got a hold of some numbers, and so some higher ups have made some phone calls to some other higher ups, and there has been some basically, I guess, some shit talking going on. So that's the rumor I heard. I don't know if it's true. Like I said, it's just a rumor, but that's the rumor I heard. So apparently they got into it after the race, possibly at the airport or just somewhere else, maybe the Applebee's. I don't know, but the airport was what was mentioned. So I don't know. In the parking lot of the airport, not showing their ass in the actual airport, because of course that would be super stupid. There should be an annual award for most pole wins in Cup, NASCAR Cup pole champion. They used to have it back in the day, and Ryan Newman won it every year, followed by Casey Kane. BB, I was crew chief for 5 years ago in go-karts. Sometimes you miss that setup, says David. Yeah, 100%. That's just the way it goes. But it doesn't suck any less because I kind of worked really hard, and I was really hopeful. And I know better from being in this for a long time to get my hopes up, but I really thought we had that thing buttoned up and ready to go. So it's really disappointing when you get your hopes up because you're like, yeah, we nailed it. And then you did not nail it. Not nail it at all. We sucked. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. And it really sucks because Tate's a really good driver. So you hate it when you got, a good driver like that and you give him a bad setup. So it is what it is. I think a good mix of road course with loops and jumps, along with a nice rotation of figure eights, would make a great points battle. So say Kyle, not Kyle, yeah, that would definitely more figure eights, loops, and jumps. That's basically what NASCAR needs. BB, what is your favorite throwback that has been done, and what is a throwback that you would like to see get done? I would like to see the number 84 Miller High Life of Dick Trickle. That's the one I would like to see done. I know it's been done in the 8 and the 12 possibly, but I want to see the number 84 Dick Trickle Rookie of the Year car. And my favorite one that's been done, oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I'll have to think about my favorite one that's been done so far. I really like the last year's Marty Robinson one, so that's a good one. All of the Earnhardt ones have been good. So let me ponder on that one for a minute. Danica, a 10-time champion on Earth 2 in a Yugo. Oh, yeah. We're definitely racing Yugos and Fiats on Earth 2. No doubt about it. Non-Sup 75, first name announced. Paul Menard says, say Kyle, not Cal. Oh, be careful. There's a lot of Paul Menard fans out there. Brickford Bricks, I'd like to see Jeremy Mayfield named top 75 and Brian France have it hand-delivered. That would be hilarious. Ghetto Streamlads, LOL, Bricks. Jeremy was framed, LOL, Bricks Mayfield. Stupid Roofer says, I was late, but did you really cover Larson's roll cage just completely collapsing? Geez. Yeah, so some people, Roofer, some people have claimed that Hendrick did something to it. Some people think it's just because it was, he got hit basically at 200 miles per hour. There's all kinds of theories on it. NASCAR is looking at it. They've taken the 41 car to look at it as well. So we're just going to have to see what comes of it. In Earth 2, and Biopocracy said, even if they find something, we probably won't hear anything about it. In Earth 2, Janet Guthrie won the Daytona 500 and Indy 500 in the same year, says an Napa Racing fan. I like it. That is definitely Earth 2 canon, no doubt about it. On Earth 2, Danica won the Indy 500, Coke 600 on the same day and lapped the field 3 times in each race and became a great broadcaster later in life. So there you go. I like that one too. Angus 420, more banana peels. Oh, you definitely got to have Mario Kart style on Earth 2. David Niehoff, BB being a former crew chief, I understand. Yeah, it just I try never to get my hopes up. I try to just stay even keel, but every once in a while I don't. Trailer racing, says Jeff Henson. Yeah, trailer racing. There's nothing wrong with that. Also train racing. I like train racing. Joshua Strickland says, heck yeah. Drama always makes for good racing. I like Ross and Noah. That can be a good battle. Yeah, I actually like that they stuck up for. I know. Look, first off, Noah can stick up for himself, but I like that his team stood up for him, and I also like that Ross Chastain didn't back down. So I like the way everybody handled that. If it's true, of course, that's just a rumor. I would like to reiterate that 4,000 times. But if it's true, I do like how both people handled themselves. So I like it. Dakota Henderson says, I'm a through and through Gordon Hendrick fan, but I don't see the rest of it. So John Lewis, ice race on the Great Lakes instead of the LA Clash, LOL, says John Lewis. I wish they would. NASCAR was going to do an ice race, but then it got canceled. NASCAR Europe was going to do an ice race. On Earth 2, the fire suit is a birthday suit, says Angus 420. So Angus 420, a little risque racing on Earth 2. Jeff Henson, loop-de-loop trailer action. Oh, man. Trailers and trains on a loop-de-loop track. There you go. Maximum chaos. Will they make one lap ever in the whole race? Say Kyle Nakao, as a 24, it kills me. Gordon lost to Paul's fuel strategy at Indy. Eternal hater, says Say Kyle Nakao. I understand. There's a lot of Dale Earnhardt Jr. fans to this day that hate me because of that Charlotte race where Jr. ran out of fuel, and I'd been trolling them the whole race just to have a chuckle with them. But then their guy actually ran out of fuel, and my guy won, and I had a full face Harvick shirt on, and I was like, oh God, I better ease out of this joint. I've been talking too much junk today. They got the data. He was hit at 150 plus, says Angus 420. Yeah, that sucks. Like you never want to see that. Ross is driving like Ernie did early in his career with his head up his butt, says Mark 63. Yeah, that's definitely what a lot of people feel like. I don't know. I've seen other people drive like that. I've got my own theories on Ross Chastain. I feel like because he didn't come up with, Junior Motorsports or Penske or JGR, he didn't come up through one of those systems. He's not in the good old boys club like that, because if you look at every driver just about in the Cup Series other than Corey LaJoie, they all came up through those systems. So they all have friends like that. So Ross Chastain is just an outsider, and he's winning. And he's not necessarily doing anything drastically different than some other drivers. They're just not used to him doing it because he's now in a fast car. So I've got my own theories about that. Ghetto Stream, I think that's part of the problem. And it's the same thing with the announcers, too, because the announcers are just as biased because they came through those same systems. Ghetto Streamlabs, I wonder whatever happened to Bobby Hillin Jr. Not sure why I thought about the old Miller car. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about him. I know Hut Strickland was at Hickory this weekend, so I did see Hut, which is a totally different dude, and I don't know why that reminded me of that. Maybe they both drove the 57 car, but yeah, I don't know where old Bobby Hillin's at these days. Angus 420 says, when will we have a series where they put boats on the chassis and race them at Daytona? I don't know, but at some point you got to finish that race in the lake, right? If you win. I'm a through and through Gordon Hendrick fan, but I have a soft spot for Ross as a fellow Florida man, says Dakota Henderson. Yeah, so there you go. Ross Chastain, there's no in between. You either like him or you don't. The one will win a loop-de-loop, says Jeff Henson. Yeah, because he'll probably be the only one that floors it on the first try. I'm lost with Earth 2, says Stupid Roofer. Earth 2 is just the opposite of Earth 1, basically. That's the joke about Earth 2. Roofer. Angus 420, yes, the Great Lakes ice race. That would be pretty cool. It's the dark side, says Jeff Henson, talking to Roofer about Earth 2. It's the dark side. Happy birthday to Alex Bowman. Hey, there you go. Happy birthday to old number 48, the Chevrolet Camaro driver, Alex Bowman. Let's see. Bigford Bricks says Mayfield is a good dude. He has helped my brother out a ton with a business adventure. All I can say is Tim Richmond may not be the only driver screwed over by NASCAR. So there you go. Like I said, he is super polarizing as well with Jeremy Mayfield. A lot of people believe he didn't do anything. A lot of people believe the NASCAR narrative. I don't have any information to say one way or the other, but it is confirmed that they screwed over Tim Richmond. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they made some stuff up about Jeremy Mayfield as well. So it's all good. Jeff Henson said, I like the dude too. Jamie Schweitzer says, will Harvick get in the Hall of Fame the first year he's eligible? I think he does, 100%. And Mark Barnum is agreeing with that. Yeah, I think he's first ballot all the way. He's been class. He's been a top 5 driver probably ever since his second or third year in Cup. Definitely his third year, because his second year he had a little bit of a slump. I would say by his third year in Cup, he was always close to a top 5 elite driver ever since then. In my opinion, that's including some years at RCR where he didn't have the greatest equipment. I had a similar situation at the Eagles-Bucks NFC Championship game in Philly in the early 2000s. Exited with the quickness, says say Kyle, not Cal. Yeah, Philly fans, dude. At the 24 Hours of Daytona, I was wearing a San Francisco 49ers hat, and 3 weirdo Philly fans came out of nowhere, like flapping their wings like a bunch of like morons and trying to start some bullshit. And I was just like, come on, dude. I was like, we're at the freaking 24 Hours of Daytona and you can't turn the Philly off. But yeah, it is what it is. Philly fans, always classy. Stupid Roofer. And if you're a Philly fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you know which fans I'm talking about. I have no clue what Earth 2 is, says Stupid Roofer. Earth 2 is just the opposite of Earth 1. It's sort of a running joke we got on here. So that's what it is. It's the opposite of Earth 1, where for example, somebody that runs typically not well, like Rick Ware Racing on Earth 2, because Rick Ware Racing runs really bad on Earth 1. Rick Ware Racing is like, a 6-time, 7-time champion over there on Earth 2. Josh Strickland, I get going for wins, but I don't think you throw late blocks or you don't let out. What are your thoughts? I mean, to each their own. I'm not sitting in a race car. I haven't driven a plate race like that or anything like that in real life in these particular type of cars or anything like that. So I don't know. All I can say is that every driver seems to think that they need to block at the very end. So that's all I can tell you. Me personally, I would just write off restrictor plate races and get the best finish I could get. And if I couldn't, just chalk it up. I wouldn't even, I don't know. I wouldn't really try really hard at super speedways, I guess is what I'm saying, until the very end. And then just see how it shakes out, because everybody's going to wreck. Big fan of the one. I would just like pick a line and go. Like I would just pick a line and stay in that line, and that would be my strategy, I guess. Do you think Darrell Waltrip went to Earth 2 since Petty was doing so well there in the 80s? He might have. And then came back totally a different dude. Not so for the 11, says Jeff Henson. They do ice races on Georgetown Lake in Colorado, just up the hill from Denver. I believed Jeremy Mayfield was an addict loser until I saw details of the whole thing. I think he has his problems, but he's not who NASCAR portrayed him. Whole thing is sad. That's sort of where I fall on it. I think Mayfield probably did something a little bad, but then NASCAR botched the test, and it wasn't as bad as NASCAR made it out to be, but because NASCAR didn't want to look stupid, they made him look as bad as possible and just ran him out of the sport. So I think it was a little from column A, a little from column B. That's just my opinion on it. My dad gave me about 20 years worth of Winston Cup scene newspapers that he had stored in his shop. Oldest one, I think, is 1984. Treasure trove of history. Yeah. NASCAR scene is where it was at back in the day before the internet. Those guys are awesome. And the Scene Vault podcast is some guys that used to work at the scene. So check that out if you want to listen to them. NASCAR ran him out with no help offered, says Jeff Henson. That's true. If you ever want to see the best Philly roast type in Bill Burr Roast Philly, he got so sick of the crowd heckling, he just went on a rant and had the whole crowd cheering at the very end, says Angus 420. Dude, Bill Burr is one of my favorite comedians of all time. I just like I like the rage that small man has bottled inside of him. Philadelphia is the only football stadium with a jail in it. Yeah, I think if I think if the Raiders had stayed in Oakland much longer, they were going to be the next one. I got you now, BB. I had to look it up. I got you, Stupid Roofer. It's all good. It is different. So, like, if you're new to the stream, that's what Earth 2 is. A lot of people are confused by it when they first hear it, because they'll just randomly pop in and they'll hear me talking about BJ McLeod being a 7-time NASCAR champion, and they'll be like, "What is this dude on?" So, yeah, that's what Earth 2 is all about. NASCAR did the same to Bobby Allison. Yeah, I don't know. Old Bobby, he never came back. I liked him, and I hate that he had to leave early as well. Let's see here. At Pocono, Mayfield, Bill Burr in Philly is legendary, says Bo Darville. Need them in jail, says Jeff Henson. At Pocono, Mayfield got into Earnhardt on the last lap and won. Earnhardt flipped him off. Told the media he was telling Mayfield he was number one. I remember that. John Lewis, that was classic. Classic Dale. Earth 2, Chase Elliott has a personality, but no fans, Angus 420. So there you go. John Lewis, one fan here too. I think Chase Elliott has plenty of personality. I think he's just a private person. One fan here too, says John Lewis. It is a sad commentary when the former CEO of NASCAR got indefinitely suspended by NASCAR for violating the NASCAR policy on those things. Yeah, I agree with you. Sorry, bud. I don't think it's a good old boy system, says a happy white guy. It's all good, man. Like I said, Angus 420 laughing. Brick for Bricks. Chastain is a driver that could compete in NASCAR in any decade. He literally leaves it all out on the track. Yeah, so I'm with you on that. His driving style, and here's why I say that. He drives the exact same way Chase Briscoe drives, right? You never hear all this talk about Chase Briscoe. They drive the exact same way. There's other drivers that drive the exact same way, and you don't hear about it either, or they don't get painted in this particular light. So it's just one of those deals. They've decided that, hey, Ross Chastain's going to be the bad guy. Even the drivers have gotten in on it. Like, you don't hear them necessarily complaining about anybody else. So it sort of is what it is. So that's where I'm going with it with that. They've just decided he's going to be the bad guy, and that's just all there is to it. And as far as NASCAR goes, it's good for NASCAR to have a bad guy. So NASCAR is going to play it up that Ross Chastain is the bad guy. Let's see. Jeff Henson's funny as hell. Dude hammered in his car. Philly Stadium jail for the fans or players. It's for the fans. Jay Campbell. Brick for Bricks. Thumbs up. Dakota Henderson. Everyone seems to be talking about who's going to drive the 4 car, but what about the 10 car? Yeah, so that's the thing. Everybody's assuming that Eric Almirola is going to have one more year because Smithfield Foods said, I think it's a 2-year deal that they signed, or Eric Almirola signed a 2-year deal, so they assume Smithfield's there for 2 years. So I think that's where that's coming from. But if he doesn't come back, which is, of course, is Almirola's prerogative, it's really gonna shake things up. The funny thing about the Bill Burr roast was he got mad at the crowd for booing Bob Saget. LOL, says Ghetto Streamlabs. That's pretty funny. Jeff Henson says, Tony, Bill Burr stole season 1 of The Mandalorian. I still haven't seen any of The Mandalorian. Jeff Henson says, pill popping CEO. Streamlabs says, anyone else notice KFB's boos have been substantially less than it used to be? Yeah, he definitely got cheered like crazy at Talladega. There were like a few boos in there, but not nearly anything like it was back in the day. Definitely more cheers now. So that's him, A, going to RCR, and B, in my opinion, going to Chevrolet from Toyota. So I think that's where the majority of the new cheers come from. I think if he'd gone to Ford, he would get just as many cheers, but I think RCR is definitely a significant bump as well. A lot of Earnhardt fans are happy to see RCR with that caliber driver again. Nothing against Austin Dillon. I think Austin Dillon's a really solid driver, and he's the one that went out there and got Kyle Busch. What are your thoughts on the chance that NASCAR gets rid of the last place charter for 3 years in a row? The thing is, they keep like trading charters or something. So the lower tier teams have found a workaround for that. So NASCAR is going to have to make a rule about it if they want to do that. David Nyhoff said Gant won at Pocono on Father's Day. After his dad died, he had problems and came back to win the Pocono 500. Yep, that's pretty cool. Harry Gant was known as Mr. September. So typically if the race happened in September, Harry Gant was going to be your dude. The Ross thing started by Hamlin to cover up his lack of talent, just saying, says John Lewis. So that's what I'm saying. depending on how you feel about Ross Chastain is sort of where you fall on that deal. Ross has taken up the bad guy role since KFB moved to RCR. There you go. That's definitely quite possible. Jeff Henson says yes. Earth 2 is kind of like Bizarro World, where dudes can get knocked up. Hey, there you go. I'm going to leave that one be. Jamie Schweitzer, I'm glad NASCAR embraces minorities in NASCAR, namely those not from the traditional NASCAR states. Yeah, so that's actually one thing. So if you look at like in the 80s and stuff like that, everybody was from either like Alabama or North Carolina or Georgia. Carol Yarborough was South Carolina. So now you look at it, and there's guys from everywhere, and from every different race, creed, color. There's women in the sport now, so like all kinds of good stuff as far as diversity. Which is, and the reason I'm saying that is that to this day, if you ask somebody who is like a casual NASCAR fan or whatever, they still will keep pushing that stereotype like we're stuck in the 80s or 70s or something like that, when actually the sport has made a ton of progress, but the stigma still stays. And it's because it's a Southern sport and everybody equates the South with being backwards and stuff like that, because a lot of them have never been here. So they just keep perpetuating what they see on TV. So that stereotype is really irritating. But yeah, NASCAR has made great strides as far as that goes. Amen. John Lewis says Josh Strickland. Hearing the crowd going wild with cheers for KB was awesome. STP is back. Number 43 Classic, says Delmar Kaufman. Yeah, that car is going to look really good. He's not taunting, says Jeff Henson. Say Kyle, not Cal. Thoughts on Hamlin getting a penalty and Corey not getting anything for his podcast remarks? It's a double standard, right? Because for the first time in history, somebody's being high profile actually worked against their favor. Corey LaJoie's podcast, not as high profile. NASCAR can turn a blind eye and ignore it. Denny Hamlin, very high profile. Everybody heard what he said. So there you go. I feel like that's why it was done. That being said, it's hypocritical. If one of them did it, then they both should get the exact same penalty. So I'm with you on that. And I like both of them, but it should be, I'm not advocating that Corey LaJoie should get penalized. And I'm not saying that Denny Hamlin should have been penalized, but if you penalize Denny Hamlin, you have to penalize Corey LaJoie because he said he did the exact same crime, right? So it is what it is. Turn to the left, says Jess Henson. Took a left. Yes, it was. Roofer says Streamlabs. Corey also mentioned he was wanting a caution before his incident with Busch. Oh, yeah, so he was trying race manipulation as well. He was trying to bring out a caution with Kyle Busch. So, yeah, it could be a double whammy if they choose to listen to what he said there. Cale Yarborough used to bring his Cup car, sponsored by Busch, to Harrisburg Elementary in Cabarrus County, North Carolina in the late 70s occasionally. Yeah, it was pretty cool. He went to a bunch of Hardee's back when he was sponsored by Hardee's too. So he made a lot of appearances with his show car at Hardee's back in the day. That was pretty cool. I think I got some autographed Hardee's stuff from him somewhere. Sprint to the car, and hopefully he's doing well. We heard he had a health scare. I haven't heard anything since then. So hopefully he is back to full strength. One tough customer for sure. So if anybody can pull through it, it's definitely him. Sprint to the race car, then race to settle it. Speed racer style, Jeff Henson. Watch Flow Racing. Alex Bowman just had a huge wreck, flipped several times with another car involved. I believe they're okay. But my man got me all upset. He flipped on his birthday too, Bumblebee. Glad he's hopefully okay. When do you think they'll announce who'll drive the number 4? Probably in the playoffs. I imagine they would do it in the playoffs, or they'll do it right after the season. Whichever news cycle suits them best, I think, is what they'll pick. Jeff Henson podcast, LOL. Hey, BB, you know anything about the upcoming race at Orange County? Never been, but thinking of checking it out this year. Says Timber Race. I mean, it's always it always puts on a good show. It's not the if you're expecting a really nice racetrack, it's not necessarily the greatest. The stands aren't the greatest. It needs a little bit of work, but the racing on the track is always good racing. So that's how I'm just trying to keep it 100% real with you. So that's how I would describe it. But they always put on good races. Car count sometimes can be an issue. So that's I mean, I'm just trying to paint an accurate picture of the deal. But that being said, that's the track I grew up going to. It's a fun racetrack if the car count's big. So there's normally one big race there per year. So I would, in my opinion, I would wait for that one. But if it doesn't fit your schedule, if this one fits your schedule, I would check it out because it is always a good race. Just sometimes they struggle with car count. The difference in LaJoy and Hamlin is LaJoy did it the same race of the incident. Hamlin took a year. Well, I mean that too. I was just talking about they snitched on themselves when they on their own podcasts. That's what I was talking about. LaJoy was not successful. That's the difference, says Bo Darvel. So that's definitely one difference. He didn't accomplish it. So I guess NASCAR can also turn a blind eye because of that. Jeff Henson said self-snitching. Yeah, they're shooting themselves in the foot on these podcasts. Happy White Guy 1985 says, but Chastain seems to always turn someone, but it's all good. He's just the guy everyone has to watch out for while they're around him. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt about that. The dude races hyper aggressively. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying there are other guys like Chase Briscoe. I sat there and watched Chase Briscoe do the same thing, but you never hear Chase Briscoe talked about the same way. That's all I'm saying. It's funny that like one guy is like, oh, Ross Chastain's a weapon out there, but then you see Chase Briscoe take out the leader at Bristol 2 years in a row. And nobody's talking about, oh, Chase Briscoe needs to change his racing style. Chase Briscoe is a weapon out there. But Chase Briscoe drives the exact same way. It's just and they're relatively around the same age. So that's why I'm grouping them together. So it is what it is. Pound for pound, I feel like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wrecks more than Ross Chastain. But for whatever reason, Ross Chastain's a son of a gun when he does it. And Ricky Stenhouse he's just Ricky Stenhouse, and he doesn't know how to drive. But Ross Chastain is he's doing it on purpose and stuff like that. It's just funny how it gets played out in the media, I guess. So that's all I'm going with there with it. But yeah, he's definitely one of the most hyper aggressive drivers out there. There's no doubt about that. I would say probably him, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe. I would say they all have the same driving style, but they all are portrayed differently in the media. NASCAR needs to institute an unsafe maneuver penalty for right hooking and enforcing it on the track while letting the drivers say whatever is true. Yeah, that too. And also they just need to enact the thing where if you're part of the caution, whether it's intentional or not, you go to the back of the field regardless. Darlington is winning in your poll with 49% so far. Says Jamie Schweitzer. So yeah, I might go ahead and end that one. We'll end that poll. Peace out. Another good show, says Josh Strickland. I appreciate you hanging out with us, Josh Strickland. Dakota Henderson, could we proclaim Ross a member of the Alabama gang since most of the gang was from Florida? That's a fair statement, Dakota Henderson. Let's see here. I might have to disagree with you on LaJoy Bush incident versus Hamlin Chastain incident. That's fine. Look, my opinion is not final. Like I'm not sitting here on my pedestal. I'm right and you guys are wrong. I'm just throwing it out here. And if you guys disagree, like it's all good. That's the whole point of this channel, man. Like being around the water cooler and just talking with your friends at work, right? So you don't always have to agree with them there. I'm never going to be like the guy like, oh, your opinion sucks, blah, 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 blah. I'm not that dude. Like, if you got a different opinion, that's totally cool with me. Like, it's all good. Let's see. Jeff Henson laughing. Say Kyle, not Cal. Let them bang around, but let them be honest. And if something is over the line, then call it and part the guy. I hate the I got tight nonsense they have to say. So say Kyle. Yeah, I mean that's fair too. And NASCAR has the in-car data too. They basically know if you did it on purpose or not. So that's NASCAR just using that as a scapegoat as well. Hit that like button, says Jamie Schweitzer. I would appreciate it if you hit the like button, but don't feel pressured. And Josh Strickland says, "Oh yeah, Denny sucks." So there you go. He had to get his Denny sucks in before he left. Obviously, he is not a Denny Hamlin fan. Jeff Henson said, "Let's go." Denny shocked me on his podcast this week when he said that Ross did absolutely nothing wrong, and neither did Noah. I agree with him. That's where I'm with you 100%. I agree with you 100% on that one, Beast. I don't think either one of them did anything wrong. I think it's the fact that it's the green-white checker. They're both going for the win. If that is lap 25 with 25 laps to go, I don't think either one of those guys make that same move. So it is what it is. I agree with him, says Jeff Henson. Jeff Henson says 11 sucks. Bubba 2, cry, says Jeff Henson. Dakota Henderson, thoughts on NASCAR forming a third party or finding a third party to officiate penalties? It would be the most fair thing to do. Like NASCAR writes the rules and has a totally separate body enforce those rules. That would be the fairest thing to have. That way you wouldn't need appeals and all this other stuff because it would be a sanctioning body going over the rules that had nothing to do with NASCAR. So I think that would be their best route to take. Whether they do that or not anybody's guess. I was watching Chastain's in-car on Sunday, and when I saw the hole open, I said he's going to take that. I mean, I did too. Like it's 2 laps to go in the race at that point. If you don't go for the lead at that moment, what are you doing? So, and from Noah Gregson's perspective, if you don't block or try to block that move, yeah, he got there late. You know, it is what it is. But if you don't try to block that move, you're on the outside and nobody's going to go up and draft with you. So your only move, in my opinion, in that situation is to go down and block. So I don't have a problem with what either one of them did because they were trying to win the race. Now neither one of them liked the outcome, but I mean, they were both going for the win. Jeff Henson, oh yes it is, LOL. Telemetry baby, says Stevie Roofer. Super slow camera, says Jeff Henson. Brickford Brick says Haas not only needs drivers, but they also need some sponsorship. Bush is going to Trackhouse. Yep, 100%. Sounds like Smithfield is tied to Almirola, and the 41 is usually sponsored by Haas. Yep, 100%. So that's what I'm saying. I think Almirola, if that Smithfield deal is there for one more year, he'll be there for one more year, so they'll have to replace him. But whoever they put in that 4 car, they're also going to have to find a sponsor. So it is what it is. NASCAR needs avoidable contact rules, says Dakota Henderson. That probably would help. I'm going to head out. Happy birthday, Daddy Bowman. I'll see y'all Sunday. Take it easy, Bumblebee. Good to have you on here as always. Thanks for hanging out. Say Kyle, not Cal, and Mark Barnum also saying goodbye. Happy birthday. My birthday is tomorrow, says Dawson Fair. Happy birthday to you, Dawson Fair. Hope you have a good birthday tomorrow. Bo Darville says Chastain driving a Bud car may make people like him less. Oh yeah, with the current climate, yeah, there's definitely some. I think their sales, Bud Light sales, were down like 17% or something. So a lot of people are unhappy with Anheuser-Busch right now. And I'm not going to talk about that because that's politics, and I'm here to talk about racing. But I will acknowledge that is a situation with a sponsor. And contrary to that news, I looked at FedEx stock, and FedEx stock is soaring now that they've made their moves to consolidate the company into one company. It's no longer FedEx Ground and all that. It's just FedEx. Their stock is up over 100, close to like $50, I think, since they had that market downturn in like December or November. They have really taken off stock wise. So looking good for them if they want to come back like they have been recently here on Hamlin's car, maybe even for some more races. So we'll have to see how that goes. Hamlin's win shows he's a legendary wheelman. Not a fan of his and find him blasé and ho-hum personality, but he wins, says Jamie Spicer. Yeah, he's definitely a good race car driver. This is going to be a very unpopular with this chat, but kudos with NASCAR for taking immediate action on the Larson incident. I like the fact that they took both of the cars to R&D. Like they're trying to learn. So yeah, that's definitely a safety deal. NASCAR needs a avoidable contact rule with 5 or 10 second time penalty that's added to their race time. I mean, that could be something they look at, no doubt about it. If Busch Beer starts sponsoring Chastain, I'm going to have to switch my beer from Shiner Light to Busch Light, says B1624. So there you go. Maybe that's something, if they go to Ross Chastain, maybe that's something they can do to win back some fans that maybe have left them. Roofer says no politics for sure. That's definitely what I don't do here. So I will stick to that myself. I keep hitting the send button by accident, says Dakota Anderson. It happens to the best of us, brother. Say Kyle, not Cal. In his defense, the Bush rumors were around prior to the ordeal, and I'm sure Trackhouse is using that for leverage with contracts. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much it's over with. They've already signed. I think the only reason they haven't announced it is because they're going through this. They're having to deal with this protest right now. I think if this protest dies down or whatever, it's going to they'll announce it then. SHR will probably replace Bacon with Monster Energy. Once Almirola retires, Herbst will be in. I think Riley Herbst has a good chance of getting in there too with his funding. Either him or Brandon Jones. I could see either one of those guys going over there. And I'm not sure about the 4, but my guess would be Cole Custer. Yeah, anything could happen over there. I think it's really just going to be based on funding and stuff like that. I'm glad we can all talk about this here. Somebody pick a race and fire up the grill. We will be there, says Aaron Flynn. Yeah, for sure. Jamie Schweitzer says his favorite beer is Yingling. Yingling's a pretty good beer. Why does Riley Herbst have a ride? He's won nothing. Because he's got a lot of money, and to his credit, he has gotten better every single season he's been in Xfinity. Stupid Roofer says, nice, Jamie. He is a Yingling fan as well. Yingling is awesome. My daughter lives about 10 miles there from the brewery in PA. I think it's the longest one. Isn't that the longest American running beer? I think they're the oldest one. Hot take: if Custer doesn't find some magical speed talent, he won't be back to Cup. He's sort of turned it on here recently, yeah, but he definitely has to do good at the Xfinity level again. I agree with that. Escobar, NASCAR needs to allow these cars to separate themselves on plate tracks. I think allowing them to go faster and lift in the turns will actually be safer. I'm actually with you on that. Say, Kyle, if I had money, y'all would be asking why I still have a ride. Hey, there you go. It's one of those deals. Money talks. You got to pay to play. Whether it's your money or whether you get sponsor money. Sonny V, I'd be shocked if any team messed with safety equipment. Penalty for that should be banned from the sport. I'm with you. Like if that came to be the case, it would be one of the stiffest penalties you've ever seen in your life. I would take Barry to stay with Chevy and Cup, but where can he go unless JRM buys a charter? All the Chevy seats are filled. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. So that makes me believe that maybe they're at least thinking about it. Junior has said he was trying to get one going with Jimmy Johnson before he bought into Legacy Motor Club. So it leads me to believe that he wants to keep Josh Berry there, and probably he wants to move Josh Berry up, possibly with Martin Truex if they can get it going, because he's mentioned Martin Truex as well. Dump the Denny, says Jeff Henson. NWPA here, and yes, Yingling is a few hours from me. Hey, so there you go. Yes, DD says John Lewis, late for the cast. What's up, Mr. Kyle? What's up, David? Glad to see you on here. Yes, Yingling is the oldest U.S. brewery founded before Anheuser-Busch. So there you go. It is the oldest continuously running brewery in the United States. I thought I read that right back in the day. Back when I used to drink those things quite heavily and cared about such things. I think Junior has brought Barry up and he's arrived. I'm sure Chevy wants him, but he will go wherever the best ride is available. Yeah, that's 100% what I would do too. If I was in his situation. So we'll run here for a few more minutes, and that is actually a good poll question. Possibly a good video I could make maybe later this week if I get a chance. Start a Q&A. Nope, that's not it. Start a poll. That's what we want, is a poll. Worst NASCAR commercial. All right, first Coke. Ram truck. Let's see here. What's another one? There you go. I'm just going to go with those three because those are the only three off the top of my head. Hot take: TikTok girl was worse. Then I have to try it first. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't look at TikTok, so I don't know what that's all about. So let's see. Still puzzled from the absolute departure from anything NASCAR in teams, cars, tracks, and race events. Yeah, for commercials, like you would think they're spending all these monies on these teams. That they would put them in some of their commercials, but alas, no more. Even Coca-Cola has gone away from the Coca-Cola racing family being in commercials. Napa racing fan, heart like a truck, gets my vote. 62% right now. Ram, heart like a truck song is losing badly. Not surprised. I hate that stupid commercial too. Hey, BB, I've got the most relatives and friends watching you now. Best live streams in NASCAR community, in my opinion. I appreciate it, Jay Santos. I do the best I can. And if it wasn't for you guys, it wouldn't be able to be done. So you guys are a big part of it as well. Jeff Henson, Denny has a heart like a truck, LOL. R. Escobar with adult beverages and CBD sponsors. Why not let tobacco sponsor back? That's a good question. I feel like that's a federal mandate, and those other ones don't have the same federal mandates on them. So I think that is actually why you don't see tobacco sponsors back. So that would be my guess on that. And I got to be careful saying that because The YouTube algorithm looks for that particular word, so I got to be careful saying that one. I'll have to figure out another way. I'll just say the yellow leaf. I would have put the T-Mobile Tell Me More ad on the poll too. Yeah, that one's pretty bad, but I don't know. It hasn't been played, I guess, as much as the other one. I'm puzzled here. There's no Pepsi anywhere in NASCAR. Yeah, they pulled out. Their Mountain Dew was their last stab at it, and when Mountain Dew left Chase Briscoe, we haven't seen PepsiCo back. Ram Truck was bad. Yeah, they play it, and they play it so often. Jeff took it home. I say all the above on the poll, says Beast. Yeah, they're all pretty bad and pretty annoying. The best NASCAR commercial, Richard Petty, Ray-Ban sunglasses. You'll never see me driving without them. Hey, that's true. You never see him without his glasses on, or very rarely. Escobar, Why Not Vape? Say Cow, Not Cow. He who is tired of Emu Limu is tired of life, says Say Cow, Not Cow. So there you go. I was just trying to think of another one that they play all the time. I feel like those three always come on. Salute to the King. I mean, really, there's only two that need to be on there, but I was trying to get four, but I couldn't think of a fourth one. Limu, Emu, and Doug. So there you go. I forgot about Doug. I had to put Doug on there. Jamie Schweitzer, yours is the only YouTube live of any kind that I watch, says Jamie Schweitzer. I appreciate it, man. That's high praise indeed, man. So I appreciate that. M43 videos, you're identical to my uncle that shows up at Thanksgiving. What's your Thanksgiving menu? It's pretty varied. I mean, you got the turkey, you got the ham, you got the gravy, the stuffing, mashed potatoes, snaps, rolls, and then I guess there's usually like a sausage and cheese dip with tortillas that you dip in that. I guess that's some of the exotic stuff. And there's always usually a platter of the Lord's chicken. That would be Chick-fil-A. A bunch of those chicken nuggets are in there too. So those would be sort of, I guess, the outside exotics. But the other stuff's pretty standard fare. My Pillow 2.0, says Randy Harrison. Yeah, the My Pillow commercials are very annoying. Best has to be JJ ESPN Speed Bump commercial. Yeah, that's pretty good. And Dan Patrick and Danica Patrick, where Danica Patrick parks in Dan Patrick's parking spot. That was a pretty good one. Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. Jeff Henson. So yeah, that's another good one I could have put in there. You are the tampon of NASCAR information, not number one, but right up there, says Richard Hole. So there you go. Jamie Schweitzer, Iceberg has a good one too. Yeah, Iceberg definitely has a good one. There's lots of good live streams out there. Definitely not mine. Say Cow, Not Cow. I wish Affleck would come back to the sport, at least force feed us decent commercials. Affleck commercials were pretty good back in the day. There was a lot of really good ones back in the day. The Gillette Young Guns, just all kinds of stuff. I missed the Goodies Dash series. I loved it when they went to Daytona. Goodies Dash series was definitely a good series. We have built quite the community here, says Roofer, for sure. The Tell Me More commercial is terrible. That's the one I was trying to think of. John Travolta, Tell Me More. I knew there was another one. I should have added that one up there because that one's definitely up there as well. Jay Santos, LOL at Say Kyle, brainwashing us, says Jeff Henson. Thank you, everyone, says Roofer. And Henson says, Roof, I managed to body shop, definitely not Liberty Mutual or Ram. Hey, so there you go. Definitely not Liberty Mutual or Ram because he runs a body shop. So I got you on that one, dude. John Lewis, good time as always, and good night, says John Lewis. Ricky Bobby should say the famous words in racing at the All-Star race this year. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I missed the Dale Jarrett's going to drive the pace car there, so that's pretty cool too. I miss the days like the 1985 Daytona 500. I'm drinking a Coors Original. That's my go-to beer, actually, Beast. Strictly because of Smokey and the Bandit. That's why I drink Coors Original. With a thundered tubo sitting in the driveway, watching Elliott drive my CA with my beer on the hood to victory. Hey, so there you go. I'm with you on that one, Beast. I was an Earnhardt fan, but I did love that that red Bill Elliott Coors car is iconic. I've got it. Yeah, there it is. There's the 1988 version right there. That's an autographed one right there in that box. So yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite of all time. Ricky on fire, says Jeff Henson. Say Kyle, Not Kyle. Please, no Ricky Bobby. I felt like the movie was laughing at us, not with us. That's how I felt too. I felt like the movie was laughing at NASCAR fans, laughing at the South, reinforcing stereotypes. So it wasn't my favorite movie either, but a lot of people love it. There's a lot of great quotes from it and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it was definitely, in my opinion, not laughing with us. It was laughing at us. Beast 1624 says, awesome. Hats off to Jeb Burton. Yeah, oh yeah, hats off to Jeb Burton for winning, and Jordan Anderson too. Car a year after his wreck, no doubt about it. Second is last, says Jeff Henson. LOL. Yeah, and so that is where I'm going to leave you off with this one. BB showing us his life savings in the background. That's pretty doggone close to it, no doubt about it. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave you off with this one. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. It was fun as always, and peace.